All right, guys, welcome back to the pregame here for the Alliance tournament, first tournament game, November tournament game. And so a few things have come to light here that need to be looked at closely as we move forward. One thing was I did gain intel on Russia, so I exposed all of their troops, and we can see what's going on here in stark relief. So what looks like is going to be happening here is we will have about 25 troops down here. This is, don't forget, our ultimate target. We want to take Kishinev right away because we want to have a landing place for all of these troops down here. So as soon as we take Kishinev, we right away bolster our mainland Russia land army by 50. And of course, if he doesn't do anything at all, these four can just land for fun, or at least threaten to land. So this is looking really good. This is actually really well played by Harkold here, moving some in to threaten here, moving this large army over here to threaten here. And what we have is 10, 20, 30 troops getting called down to the south. And what that means ultimately, though, is this beautiful situation where Riga is only going to have 14 troops to protect it. So I'm coming at it with about 70. I'm going to leave just a few behind, and I'll show why in just a minute. But right before day change, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more spies. I've got 2 there now. I want to just offensive spy the hell out of this. Really, really tear down that fort. Maybe just 1 more spy. I'm not sure. But anyway, what's going on is we can see even on the main front here, he's moving stuff forward, and maybe because he's seeing that there's not much back here, but I love this. This reminds me of Raya Force's play in that early practice game that we did, where these guys back here are not visible. You can't see them. If you think about this radius from here to here, if you measure this distance from here to here, it is that distance is less than the distance from here to any one of these possible spies. So they just don't know they can't see anything. They can't see anything at all back here unless they have a spy. So this is a big, mean force gathering down here. And, we were talking about maybe having Austria send 60 to Kyiv and 60 to Kishinev. But it might just be easier, logistics-wise, just to have Austria attack Kishinev with all of his guys and have Raya attack Kiev with all of his guys. Although, no. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, yeah, we'd actually be better off because a mixed force is going to get maximum, even if they hit at the same time, they're going to get maximum damage. They're not going to suffer as much for multiple forces. So something to think about over the next day here. So if we want to attack down into here with, let's say, 100 troops and attack up into here with, let's say, 60 troops, then we might still be better off going 50-50, 50 troops from Italy, 50 troops from Austria up here, and then 30-30, 30 troops from Italy, 30 troops from Austria up here, and time them to hit at the same time or as close to the same time, because we don't even have to do a flower. Oh, by the way, this is important. We learned this. If we are attacking with more than one country at a time, you can still only have 7 petals. So if, for instance, we did a mixed attack like that, and let's say Italy did 4 petals and Austria did 4 petals, that would be a foul. Okay, so in total, this place would be being attacked by 8 petals. So that was made clear to me early on when somebody said, is that for just one country attacks? If you think about it, you could have 3 countries attacking with 7 petals each. You could have 21 petals. No, that's not allowed. So in a particular attack, you can only have 7 petals. So if we did do that, if we did do a 50-50 down here, and we did do a 30-30 up here, I would say maybe just split your forces into 3 pedals each. That way we even have the safety of an extra pedal in case something weird happens. We can have that flex because we do not want to get slapped with another foul at this point in the game. So that's something to talk about. We do have plenty of time here. We have 17 hours, almost a full day, to talk about this. But it does seem to me like it would be advantageous to attack with mixed forces. And then, of course, the other advantage is once you attack with mixed forces, then you can attack on northward on multiple fronts, because you have you have mixed forces, right? So anyway, worth talking about. But what I'm seeing here, we've talked about this now in our chat, is Russia's going to fold, and fold quickly. Now, we thought early on, now we're going to talk about this. We thought early on that maybe Sweden was going to march all the way up and around. We're not that lucky, unfortunately. Most of Sweden's troops are right here. We can see them right here, 108 troops. That means there's really only about 15 somewhere else. And 50 of them are now in the water. Now, here's what I've done is I position myself waiting at a crossroads. So if he wants to leave this waterway, he's got to cross here. If he wants to go north or south or continue east towards Riga, which is my thought of what he probably should be doing, he's got to go through me, and I think he's got to attack me. So I'll gain that popularity advantage early on. He'll lose that popularity advantage right when we're trying to get that right-of-way. So hopefully he will be forced into declaring war on me. I'm still not exactly sure the mechanics of that, but we'll see moving forward. I do have 2 more armored cars building. I had to buy iron to make that happen. Oh, I need to give oil right away. Gosh, shouldn't be doing this on the cast, but I need to give oil right now while I'm still thinking about it, to Carried here. So let me give him, I can give him 4,000. He is the defensive, although I'm not so sure anymore. Gosh, let me give him 2,000 for now, because it's now looking like I might be the attacked person here. So let's just see moving forward. Let's 2,000 here. And by the way, we should all be doing, it's not giving me that option, share an intel with each other. All right, so let's send off 2,000 oil right away here to him. I don't know if you guys are doing this, but from every single one of my screens, it's automatically populating my chat screen to the very top. Can you see this? And then I have to drag it down to the most recent message. And this gets really frustrating. So like, look at this. This is my chat with Great Britain. I've had to give over a bunch of resources. We've had a lot of backs and forths, and it populates to the first message. I have to drag it down to the last message. This is getting really messed up in some of my games where it's, I'm in 500 player maps and my chats are huge, and I'm having to reach up and grab a tiny little sliver of a handle and drag it. It's like weird. So let me know if you guys are having that same experience as well with this latest update. All right, so here's what I'm fearing. This 50, most likely in a sane world, is defensive to Riga, but certainly could be offensive to my mainland. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and attack in with 80 into Riga, hopefully spy down this fort significantly, and hopefully take it right away. I want to take it fast before this 50 gets there. And this 50 has a long way to go, and then 4 hours to get out of water, that whole business, a long way through the water. I don't think he's going to make it there in time. But I certainly have to make sure that this attack lands timely. So what I've done is I've went ahead and set a timer so that in 9.5 hours, this force will begin to march towards the border. And it should put me at the border just a few hours before day change. And so he'll see it, but there's not much he can do about it. He can take this 6 up over there. But at the same time, I'm going to start marching this 1 across as though I have right-of-way. So don't forget, that means I have to go to Poland, and I have to make sure and change my status with them back to peace. So wherever Poland is here, change that back to peace. Remember, if you walk onto land for whatever reason, if you've given them right-of-way of your territory, they're considered an ally, I guess. And if you walk onto an allied territory, then you have to declare war first. In fact, let me just show you. I think we all know this. You have to declare war before you do anything, so don't do it. I'll go ahead and make peace with him and then walk onto his land just a little bit to try to intimidate Russia into staying here. I've been waiting to see if I just happen to get right-of-way, but I am not getting right-of-way with anybody. I haven't had great right-of-way luck, I'll be honest with you. Raya Force also has not. It's just not in the cards, I guess. Like we've done everything right in terms of population, farming and whatnot. So, okay, other things that are happening here that I love is that there were like 75 troops here, but Britain saw this 10 and started marching troops back. Now, it looks like he's coming back to the front with a lot of these guys. No, just the armored car and maybe 10 of these guys. But the point being, if he's planning on launching an attack over here, he just marched 20 guys north and then I guess 10 back. Just a lot of wasted time marching troops back and forth. And that is exactly what these pirates are designed to do. So let's take a look at this. This is a stack of 7 here. So there are 24 troops in Ireland. There are another 20 troops here in Liverpool. And I believe these are all stacks of 7-ish. So 21, 41. So we have like 60 troops that are held back in Ireland here. Ireland and Scotland and over here in Northern England, held back for this stack of 10. I love it. I love it. This is one of the things I wrote down on a pad after my very first practice game. I don't know if you guys remember back that far, if you've seen that game, but when we played it, when I captained a game against Benaya, and Benaya's team ended up winning that one, but I had a harassing force back here, and it was very effective. And then I fooled around and ended up, because I was attacking in just to mess around, and then I left one attack and it went ahead and landed and the guys died. And I realized at that point how crucial those guys had been, because once these 10 were gone, I realized all of these 50 or 60 guys that are lingering back here were completely free to do as they wished. So this 10 right here is crucial, super important. Speaking of which, I'm having a lot of fun here. I'm going to march this 5 over to do the same thing over here in Scotland. So just hovering off the coast here, just vaguely threatening with 5 guys. And we're going to make sure that Britain has no power. What are you going to do, Britain? Britain is so vulnerable to attack along all of their coastal territories there. Even though coastal attacks are horrible, we know that. Nobody wants to attack from water onto land. But I'm telling you, the threat of that is just magnificent. Now, what we also have going on here is Sweden has just depopulated everything. Now, he went ahead and moved from Christiania 5 troops down to Egersund. And that's unfortunate because, as you can see, I'm moving 3 over to here. But I am going to go ahead and move 2, 1 to threaten Christiania, 1 to threaten just getting on the land here without any opposition. And then I've got 1 here who is on delay. He's waiting so that I don't move up, obviously. And another 1 over here who's also on delay, so that when the day turn comes, I'm going to have people crawling onto Sweden's shores and threatening just a quick take. Will I keep it? No, I won't keep it. But look, he can't even see this guy. There's no one around who can see this guy. I freaking love it. The positioning is just really interesting because Sweden, for whatever reason, has drawn everything back here to the capital. I don't understand this 58 here. What does he think's going to happen? Who does he think's going to attack? He's just not. Sweden's not a natural target for us. He's just not. Britain is more of a natural target because we have 2 players that could potentially jump in the water, but nobody wants to attack from water onto land. I just don't know what the skill level of these guys are. I will say I went ahead and checked, and I think 3 of the 5 of these guys are like 18 or 19 level guys. This doofus down here, I think, was 5th level, and then another one was like 10th. But we all know in this game that levels don't mean a lot. They really don't. We have people who've been playing for 2 or 3 months that are just really good because they've been giving their energy, attention, focus, and intellect into learning this game. So it doesn't mean a lot. And there's a few players that I could name that are level 19 or a very high level that suck. I'm talking about me. So, levels don't matter a whole lot. But I'm telling you, I think what's going to happen here, is we're going to steamroll these mofos. We've been doing the threats in the water really, really well. these threats are scaring the shit out of Russia, causing Russia to send 30 troops down here. And of course, he has to. He really has to send them down. There's a lot of guys in the water over here. And at the same time, though, here comes Morocco to defend Italy over on this front. So I'm just loving it. Italy now is about to have eyes in a very crucial region of the map over here so that we can see what's happening between Morocco and Spain. Would love to have some eyes in the inner portions of Spain here. And right now, what we can see is there's 9 here and 9 here. And just who knows what's here, but there's no troops moving towards it or away from it because we've got that outer vision pretty far away. So, and we've got scouts in the water, so we know that Spain isn't sending some sort of roundabout attack. I don't know what their game is. And in some ways, the ineptitude of their response is scaring me more than a concerted, focused defense. Because I'm like, what do they have up their sleeves? Why is Russia so thinly held here? Why is there only about 25 guys in this general vicinity and like another 20 down here when we're about to pound into there with 160 troops, 170 troops, really, 180. Well, no, because we had to hold some back. So more like 160. So, but still though, like that's nothing. And we did pound down the fort here in Kishinev, and we're about to hit it again at day change when we unleash the dogs of war on them. I'm going to go ahead and put another offensive spy in Riga. That'll be 3 total. I think we're going to put 3 there. Anybody who wants to add another spy to Kiev or Kishinev, I've got 1 in Kishinev, and I don't know if I reported that or not, but I do have 1 active spy in Kishinev. I went ahead and added 1 there. I think that makes 3 or 4 there. So at a certain point, you probably don't need to add any more over that. But what I do love here is that he's moving troops forward. And if he's not careful about that, these guys are going to get caught out in the open and attacked at 1 against 1 instead of being behind forts where at least during the first or second round, they get that huge advantage. So we'll see what happens here. 7 here and 7 here. If we're fast enough, like for instance, this 2 could race over here and surprise engage this 7 while all the rest are streaming over and lock them into place and take them out. Same thing over here. This 3 could lock this 7 in place while this 100 comes down and around. So very fun stuff going on. I'm loving the way this is all sort of working out. We have 3 countries down here. We have Italy, Austria, and the Ottomans who are coordinating this devastating attack against southern Russia. And at the same time, 14 guys in Riga, 14 guys against my 80. Now, once my 80 take Riga, I'm going to have to rethink things, maybe rebuild the fort there, because I think I'm going to have to be concerned about this 50 and maybe even more coming down. Now, they're waiting right now in the capital for no reason whatsoever. But this is another 58 that could come and join this. And now we're talking 110, and there's not much here. But I'll still have the lion's share of this force. I'll still have the lion's share of this 80, along with, I believe I have about 20 dispersed over here. So I think I've got enough for a shoreline defense over here. And this guy who used to kind of feel like a threat is not a threat anymore. And that's largely thanks to France. And I'm fixing to put some pressure up here in Scotland and also see what Sweden does. This 58 is scary, but the 58 is not going to be as scary when he sees me swarming over, threatening to take all of these southern territories in his capital. In fact, if I could take Gothenburg, then I can also race down into Karlstad. So very cool stuff going on here. Very exciting stuff going on. Everyone in this game is playing just perfect. Just clockwork perfect. You can see France moving into position. You can see France building now level 2 forts. Those won't be done by day change, but that's okay. They'll be close. And there's nobody even nearby. Spain doesn't even have men moved up to the borders. Like a lot of us have, most of us have guys, racing up to the borders so we can see, so we have vision. It's just common sense. You move your men to the extreme ends so that you can see when movement is happening. And we don't even have that out of Spain. So very weird behavior. Again, it's encouraging and yet also kind of scary at the same time. It's like the biggest threat on the map right now to us is if Morocco and Spain team up against France. That is a huge threat to us because those are two land approaches that we can only defend with forts, which we know forts wear down. We learned the hard way that the coastal defense is the way to go because the coastal defense will consistently give you a 5-1 advantage. We were seeing 6-1 advantages, and it doesn't wear down. It doesn't get destroyed like a fort gets destroyed. You have it continuously. And one thing I think we learned was that your attack and defense values go down, but your hit points also go down. Now, that needs to be verified, but I've heard it from a couple places now that when you're disembarking, your hit points go down. That is devastating. Very devastating. And it kind of makes sense if you think about hit points being a combination of sort of factors. So we think about hit points from D&D as being how hardy you are and how strong you are and how much damage you can take. But hit points in the real world, in a game like this especially, would probably have more to do with, if we're talking, let's talk infantry, your ability to take damage would have to do with building foxholes, right? So that would absorb some of the damage. You're in foxholes now. Having some kind of body armor or helmets, that would be part of your hit points, right? Your defensive ability. Being in formation or, being undercover, right? So all of those things, when you're getting out of the boats, you cannot have heavy defensive armor. You're certainly not in a trench or in a foxhole of any kind of dugout fortifications. So in some way, it does kind of make sense that your hit points would be lower as well. You're just vulnerable. You're vulnerable. You're not able to attack as effectively, counterattack as effectively, and you're not able to sort of dodge some of that damage that on land you can because you're dug in, you're effective, your land units, right? So I mean, I'm loving this game, and I'm loving Italy coming in with 10-10. I do want to encourage anyone on this map, so I'm talking specifically to Harcold and to Doggo, anybody who wants to just send one guy to here, to Luis, Bordeaux, and maybe even Lille here. The idea being, and this is something we've toyed with in some of our other alliance matches, and maybe something we should just do on day one, is if we stack every vulnerable border with all 5 of our nations, that means for Spain to attack France, he has to attack all 5 of us. I think that's just brilliant. That's some of the more higher level play. This is what I'm talking about. This crew here, this crew that I have right here, this crew of 5, every one of you I know is dependable, focused, a great player, and dedicated. But even more importantly, we're going to learn these little tricks, right? We had to learn the hard way about that water hold. And some of you, I won't mention any names, kicked my butt in the first Versus game, and you guys understood probably even before we did about the water protection, the shoreline defenses. But the point being is that the more of us that we get trained up at this high level of sort of strategies in this 5v5 map, the more domineering we're going to be in this game. I think we're going to be contenders in this tournament. And I know that sounds bold, but I know you guys. I know the level of play that you're used to, and I know that you're open and willing to learn new things. And so here's the takeaway. Shoreline defenses are freaking OP, just insanely OP, to the point where if we're ever in the situation where these guys are, we don't even try to land troops. We land troops on friendly territory and we move in through the land. So we know that. Second thing we've learned that's pretty huge, I think, is that small groups of pirates force countries to hold back 4 or 5 times that number of troops just to defend. That is a great efficiency. That is a wonderful efficiency. 10 for 50, 10 for 60. Yes, please. I'll spend 10 of my troops to hold 60 of your troops back. So we see that happening here. I'm hoping to kind of affect the same sort of strategy over here. And we see it happening in southern Russia as well, although this is a pretty damn big stack. But what we haven't seen yet, and this is fun, is, hey, Morocco, see that group of 10 coming through? What you going to do about it, buddy? Nothing right now, right? But, That's beautiful. And the Ottomans are going ahead and just moving on, because why not? Right now, it's more important for Harkold to threaten the shit out of Morocco and keep them from sending troops up into Spain, which could eventually overrun France. It's more important to do that than to have some sort of secret attack over here. But it's also super cool to know that at some point in the future, if he wants to, Harkold can land on friendly soil and invade in. So that's great too. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So shoreline defenses are big. Stacks of pirates, I think, are big. That's something we've kind of gone at. And another thing I'd like to just integrate into our play is important borders. Let's have every country send one representative, just one, or maybe more if you want. But that's why these two are going down there exclusively. That's it for Bordeaux here and Toulouse. I'm sending one to each of them, because if Spain attacks, you're going to have to declare war on me as well. So since we have Italy coming in, that means that as of now, Spain will have to attack 3 countries. Not as of now, but as soon as these Italian troops get into place. Looks like they're both going to Toulouse, which is actually sensible. But maybe, Raya, if you could just send one of... Oh, we have even more coming in, I think. Yeah, but they're going north. Very good. If you could just have maybe one of those go to Bordeaux here. Again, I think that would be a great strategy. And think about it. What we're talking about here is, if you attack in early, you're going to take a huge population hit. To attack 5 countries, you want to attack one country, right? You want to go to war with one country. Nope, sorry, you got to go to war with 5 countries. And we've seen that going to war, even if you declare war, is what, 12 to 15 population penalty? So now times 5, like, it's going to destroy your popularity, which is in turn going to destroy any opportunities to have right of way with the AIs. So, all right, sorry to be long-winded, guys, but there's a lot of exciting stuff going on here. I think we've got a great chance at this game. We are super well positioned with a huge invisible army here. They can't see it. They don't know that it's there. And you can tell they don't know it's there because there's nothing protecting Russia to any extent whatsoever. And this group of troops in the water, I don't think they can get to Riga in time. Traverse this entire distance and then 4 hours to get out of the water? If so, it's going to be really close. And if they are able to get there, I'm going to be pissed off, because 50 troops would be enough to defend against my 80. So I'll have to rethink things at that point. But I'm also going to be watching this front over here, where we have 160 troops that are almost certain to break through. And again, we really are kind of looking for Kishinev here to go down so that we can easily disembark these troops. And then, my God, if we can overrun Kishinev here with, let's say we attack in with 100, we keep 60 of them. Let's say we have bad casualties, we keep 60 of them. Yeah, but then Harkold lands with 60 more or 50 more, 55, right? So now we have 110 landed troops in the back countries with no forts. It's just rampage time, right? It's just rampage time. And please give us your oil. We'll take your oil now. Thank you very much. So I love it. Things are going really, really well. Sorry I rambled on so long. By the way, if ever you want to just click stop on these videos, go ahead. Obviously, you guys know what you're doing. But I'm super excited about this, and I'm super excited about this team we have moving forward. I do want to bring a few more people in, rotate them in if we can. We need to have a good core of 8 to 10 veterans of this game, people who understand the way tournament play, alliance play works. So if you guys can think of anybody you want to bring into this team, I'm willing to sit it out as well. I'm willing to sit a session out, and I know I can trust Raya to cast the game. And again, Benaya's casting his game over on his side. So I'm going to be watching that footage. I mean, we are now like, each one of us are like football coaches. We need to be watching the footage. We need to be watching the film and going over these plays and understanding how people move and how this game works, right? So, all right, enough. By God, at some point I've got to stop talking. So thanks for checking in, guys. I'll see y'all next time. Adios.